Smith, and yeah, I didn't even talk about that Will Smith thing. Any thoughts on that?
I think it was fake.
I also think it was fake.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like that, like conspiracy guy right off the bat, but like, I feel like that was nobody fucking. What was it? The Emmys or the Oscars?
It was the Oscars.
It was the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like no one fucking watches that anymore. They're like, Will, go slap Chris Rock, and like, what did the viewings went up? Probably what?
Oh,
200%.
Well, not this year. It went up a little bit this year because it was like 10 million last year, 2021, which is the lowest it's ever been.
Like, how many people do you think searched the Oscars on YouTube the next day?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Next year is going to see a significant bump because of that. And that's I agree. I think it was staged just because, Will Smith got suspended, which that'll end up being, or he got banned from the Oscars after that. I mean, that's the worst thing that happened to him, and he still accepted the award. And that was the other thing. I was like, if this was real, they would have revoked that from him, because like, you know, you can't behave like that. Like, you can't be hitting people like.
Could you imagine just being able to go up in public and bitch slap somebody and then get a trophy afterwards?
Yeah, and get rewarded. And that for me, I was like, this is fishy, just because like. Yeah. I'm like, and there was no security around either. It was just like nobody escorted him out. Like, that's the thing. Like, if he would have gotten escorted out by security, he literally went and sat back in his seat. Yeah. And I was like, this is fishy. I'm like, this just seems like a ratings ploy for a struggling award show, which nobody like. And that's the thing. Like, it's just like with the Oscars, it was just like the interest was going down. You know, it became too political and preachy, and people were just like, look, we just want to. It stopped being about films, and now it's even further. Now it's just a meme show at this point. Like, it's like. That's what the Oscars should have been. It was like, it always was about celebrating filmmaking and like the art of making film, like whether it be like the sound guys, the visual effects guys, the production design, the costumes, like all that stuff. And it strayed away from that, and those people just got put on the back burner for political social commentary, and then eventually now just memes. So it's just devolved, and that's what's like kind of sad about it more than like the actual incident itself, because like whatever, it was probably staged. And like what I think they did is they probably like tipped them off. Like they didn't, they were like, Chris Rock's gonna make a joke about your wife, and then you just have to like overreact to it. But some people are making arguments that it's like that it is legit. I mean, yeah.
He looked pissed after, but he's an actor.
Yeah, exactly. He's an actor. He gets paid a lot of money to do that. So
and I mean, and that's the whole deal too with these things with actors and actresses, like the Amber Heard trial. It's like she's up there and she's telling her story. It's like she gets paid to like pretend to feel a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's like you're up there listening to her story, and I just literally just reflexively said "turd." I wasn't even.
How odd is that? She literally pooped in his bed, on his side of the bed.
I can't even imagine, man. I can't even imagine if my girlfriend was upset with me and I walked in and there was just like a dump on my side of the bed. Like I don't even understand if I'd be like very upset at first. I think I'd just be I'd just sit down and think for sure.
Yeah, it would be. You definitely have to question it. That's pretty discouraging though. Like, damn. Yeah.
I wonder what she meant by it. In her head, what was like, what was the rationale? This will show him.
Yeah, I think it was just like. Probably just like she was very and I think it was like before she went to Coachella, so she probably was like, we'll leave him a little present, and like I think he was gone out of town too, so she's like, I'll leave him a little present. The funniest thing was, though, in the trial they tried to blame it on the dogs, and they showed the dogs, and they were both like two little like Pomeranians, and the guy was like, there's no way like these little dogs could have made that pile of crap. Like there's no way that like scientifically that's impossible. But yeah, you're right. Like it's like she definitely was up there just like trying to ham it up, and like she just got caught in a lie, honestly. Like, and that was the biggest thing. They just didn't have any actual evidence like that Johnny Depp actually abused her. Like they just there was just evidence that he was an alcoholic and a drug addict and all that, but like that doesn't necessarily equate to him being an abusive husband per se of her physically.
Yeah His attorneys versus hers were like, I mean, they were just putting on a show. They were just grilling them the whole time. It was
and there was just no substantiation to it. And it's like, it was definitely worth like being in court, but like at the same time, it's like, they looked up. There was no medical records of anything. Like, they even showed the pictures of her like going out the nights after she had alleged things were happening, and like, like, okay, where's the broken nose? Where's the bruises? Where's all this stuff at? Like, you would be able to see that like as clear as day. Like if you have a broken nose, like it's pretty obvious. Like to be able to see that. And she's like, oh, well, we just did good makeup, and it's like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know how well that held up, and obviously the jury didn't buy it. But you're right. I think it's like the whole thing. Like we've looked up to these actors and stuff as like more than that, but that's what they do. They do that for a living. It's like so. It's like everything they say you can't necessarily take as as the truth or even their honest opinion of a matter. Like because they're actors. Like at the end of the day, like I'm not saying they're not real people, but I'm saying like that they definitely like ham it up for the camera, especially when they're like on TV. Like she knew she was on TV. The whole trial was being televised, and same with the Will Smith thing. Like that was on TV. Everybody knew it was on TV. Like so like.
Yeah, that whole trial was a mess, man. And then there was those videos of her online, like sniffing that thing, like and they were saying she was putting something in her nose that like helps people like fake cry. It was just, it was just such a mess. Like what I mean? And the real sad part is too, it's that not only did she just embarrass herself, but like that whole, she wanted to be a martyr for the cause of that whole Me Too movement, and she just set all those women back so far. Like what I mean? Just going up there blatantly lying, like just because she wanted to be I don't even know what the reason was at the end of the day, but
she wanted to exploit the narrative. I mean, that's why she wrote the op-ed a couple of years ago about basically alleging that he had abused her. Was because there were, at that time, like people were just getting away with it, and like it ruined his career. I mean, it threw his career into the toilet. He lost the Harry Potter film. He lost a bunch of opportunities for films, and like he figured this is some BS. Like I didn't do any of this, and like even though she didn't mention him by name in the article, I mean it's about him. If you read even part of it, like it's about him. So it was like it was just a straight up. She was trying to capitalize on an emotional situation, and it blew up in her face because. When it came down to it, he sued her for defamation, and when it comes down to evidentiary hearings, like if you don't have any evidence, you're screwed. Like it's just common knowledge. But like, it was. I agree. It was a complete circus, and like I think it was just a big distraction too to just get people away from like whatever else was going on in the world. Like it was more so like just like everybody was just like in unison, just watching this like. It was just, it was like a reality TV show.
Yeah, that was
I was gonna say you could have filmed that trial, put it on Netflix, sold it as a fictional show, and I would have believed it. Like the way they were just. Yeah.
I could see them. I could see them making like a reenactment of it for like a streaming service, like down the road, like they make like a. Excuse me, like a Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, like
it was
trial series.
It was laugh out loud funny at times. I mean, like the questions they were just getting her on and the reactions and some of the witnesses they had up there.
Yeah. I mean, think if you could get both some of the lawyers, some of the eyewitnesses, like to do like a documentary. I mean, that's a hit right there.
Oh, absolutely.
You do an hour 40-minute dog.
Yeah, all the behind the scenes research that went into it and shit. Yeah,
right. That's money.
Yeah, and I think it's just like funny, like 'cause you watch like the court process, and it's like it's so funny how like long and drawn out it is. Just like in terms of like how long it took them to like pull up images and videos. Like they're like, hang on, like we gotta. Oh, that's the wrong file. We gotta pull this one up. And the whole time you're just saying like, God, like I couldn't even imagine me sitting in that room right now. Like I'd be so bored, like waiting for them to pull this stuff up, and like it's just like so like procedural. I feel like, I mean, like, and that's how it's supposed to be. But like it's like. It's funny like watching it like as a spectator because like you're trying to like you're so used to watching like courtroom drama like movies and TV shows where it's like everything's like cut and dry back to back to back, and like there's so much like buffer time like in between like where they're all just like sitting in. There was like literally times where they all just like are sitting in silence, and I'm like, and obviously people are doing stuff, but it's like
and they're not like the like on TV you see lawyers portrayed as like the sharpest like most on top of it individuals, and then you see turds lawyers just like fumbling the bag on the stand. I mean,
I mean they were just trying to make something out of nothing at that point. It was weird. You can only do that for so long.
Right. It was weird seeing how like ill prepared those people look. You know what I mean? Like it's like you said, like it seems like in those shows those guys are getting up there and like talking to the audience and the judge, and then everyone's like.
Yeah, right.
And ultimately, they're just people. Like people like trying to do their homework on it, but like at the same time, like it's like what can you really do when you don't actually have any evidence to stand on? Like you just have to stand up there and make stuff up. Like at that point, like because you're just you're trying to make it all work, but it's like you don't have anything. So it's just like you're trying to just keep it going, and like. Yeah, and like the whole thing with that, with like the wrong juror and all that, like it's like, isn't that the attorneys like? Because like that came out like a couple of days ago, like how it was like, oh, there was a wrong juror in the in the verdict. So that's, you know, that causes for a mistrial and all that. But it's like, wait, aren't the attorneys the ones that pick the jurors and like all of that? Like that whole thing ended up getting tossed. So it was like, it's done. And you know, it was entertaining. It was fun. And I liked seeing like all the clips of Johnny just like being himself.
He's a legend.
And it was such a smart move for him on like from a PR standpoint, is like, you know, he was willing to air out his dirty laundry to save his career. You know, like he had to air, you know, there was a lot of embarrassing pictures, like the one of him passed out with the ice cream and the videos of him. I mean, the worst thing that we saw was the video of him slamming the cabinets and pouring the glass of wine. Like, that was it. And like,
Really not too bad. Yeah, I
That
like
was like right after his mom died too.
right. So it's like, you know, there's some context there, and like, you know, it's not, you know, it's not abusive to slam a cabinet. Like, I'm sorry, like that's not abuse. I mean, it's not. It's reckless. It's, you know, immature. You know, all that, but like, it's not illegal. So it's very
true.
funny to like see like how they like tried to, because they basically tried to like go the angle of like he's a drug addict and alcoholic, and that means he's an abusive guy. And like I said, like that doesn't necessarily equate to that, you know, unless there's actual evidence of violence, which in this case there wasn't. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I like how he said the only person he abuses is himself.
Right.
That was pretty good.
He's owning up to it.
It's a good line.
Right. And like he was willing to like show his humanity, and I think it helped him so much, because now like he's, you know, he's won over the public, the court of public opinion. You know, he's completely won him over, and like now he's like signing a deal with Disney and doing all that. So like, good for him, man. He was able to get out of this, you know, go from his career being destroyed to salvaging it just by airing it all out and willing to, you know, show the humanity of him. Because, you know, he's just a guy. He's a person. Like, yeah, he's like one of the biggest stars in the world, but like, he's a human being, and like, you know, he makes mistakes. He's not a perfect person. Like, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean he's a criminal either. So it's very interesting. It was a very interesting study of our celebrity class in this world.
I would say so. You know, I that whole trial got me thinking. You know,
Here, you can move that back.
Not to change gears completely, but that whole trial had me thinking. Now, would you rather date a lawyer or an actress? I think that's a good question.
It is
Are they both at the top of their game?
They're both at the top. They're wherever you want them to be. They're at the same level though. So they're as a mid, it's a B-list actress and a civil court lawyer.
Fair.
Whatever, match them up. Yeah.
I would say lawyer, and I'll tell you why. I just think like an actress at the top of her game, like there's way more eyes on an actress, like,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
way more like publicity, and like not even like eyes of like other dudes. Like I don't care about that, but like I want that, but like, you know, like more so like eyes from like the press and the news and like the media, like, and I wouldn't want like all those people like taking pictures of me all the time and like getting in my grill and asking me stupid questions, like, and like that's what you get when you're dating a celebrity. It's like, but like as a lawyer, like, yeah, she's, you know, a big deal, but it's like a lot of even those like high rank like celebrity lawyers, like Johnny Depp's lawyer, like you know, like Camille Velasquez, like even like her, like, yeah, she's like probably like the most famous of them just because of that trial, but like most of the people on her level, you know, most people don't know who they are, you know,
Right.
but like everybody knows who like the most famous actresses in the world are, like, so it's like,
that's a very good point.
so it's like, you know, that you wouldn't have all the attention of like the media on you, like having an actress as a girlfriend as opposed to like,
I mean, having a lawyer as a girlfriend would definitely be tough at times, because you know they're going to come with a little bit of bite.
yeah,
But it would also be very nice because lawyers also know other lawyers, and lawyers get people out of a lot of just little shit, and they're very attentive to detail.
Right.
And
could also backfire on you.
could backfire.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Anything you say will be remembered. Like,
Yeah.
there's
And evaluated and analyzed.
yeah, and
right.
if the marriage goes and if you're married and it goes south,
Oh, shit.
you're in big trouble when it comes to the
sick.
courts. So.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's the thing. You're in trouble there. So, I mean, I would say the lawyer, but like, yeah, I would say the lawyer, but
Lawyer.
I guess, yeah. You're right. Yeah, no, lawyer.
I'd go with the lawyer too. I was just curious what you all thought.
no, it's a good question. But yeah, I just think because of that, just the public eye. And like, that's the thing. Like imagine being a celebrity. Like you're literally going out, you're like, you can't even go to the store without like people following you with cameras and like trying to snap you like at your weakest points. Like, And then like even just like if you're wearing an outfit that isn't like trendy or popular, and then you have like TMZ and like all those fake like you know publications, and like who really cares what they think? But it's like still like just having that stuff aired out in public is just like why like oh that did you see that outfit TJ was wearing at Publix like what was he thinking like. I kind of like being a normal, like I always wanted to be a celebrity growing up, but like now I'm like, I kind of like being a normal person because it's like, you don't have to worry about like, you can go out in public just like and blend in with society. Whereas like, if you're like a, you know, like if you're like a Johnny Depp, like everybody knows who you are. Yeah. Like you can't go anywhere without like people in your grill, like asking for autographs and crap like that. So it's like, and like pictures and like all that stuff. And it's just like, I mean, I feel like it is kind of gratifying because like people respect you for your work, but like at the same time, it's like, yeah, I just want time to. I just want to blend in with the society.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, can you imagine like after a 3-day weekend bender and you're walking into Publix or you're walking into Sunoco to grab some snacks to go eat miserably hungover on the couch. People are just snapping pictures of you.
Right. And they're like, oh, look at how hungover Bobby is right now.
It looks like shit. Like, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah.
Has Bobby gained weight?
Right.
Like, yeah, like that's always one. It's like, okay, like y'all need to chill. And like all the beach pics too. Like they always catch like the most unflattering like beach angles of like actresses and like famous people and like put them on the like I always see them like when I'm in the checkout aisle.